So Jalen Green has been a topic of discussion for Rockets fans. I'm going to give you my perspective on the situation. Tap in. Enjoy.
This is something I know.
So there's been a lot of crazy takes about Jalen Green. I mean, people are trying to trade the dude. People are calling him a bust. And this is just a few games into the season. So I want everybody right now, let's all take one deep breath. Get that all out, okay? Because I think that everybody is doing a little too much right now, overreacting to the 3-game skid that the Rockets are having. I think collectively the fan base probably has PTSD from the Stephen Silas era. So, usually I'd be doing a game breakdown, but, the games have been, they've been competitive games. They've been good games. It's just so many of them back to back. It's really hard to talk about anything in light of what is going on with the Jalen Green discourse. So I had to do a quick video, hopefully, about what I think about this situation. So one thing that you guys know about me from this channel is that I try to be as measured and objective as possible. Obviously, nobody's fully 100% objective in anything. But in this, I can clearly say that I feel like there's overreactions and it's going on two extremes. On the one end, you have people that are wanting to trade Jalen Green, which to me is asinine at this point in his career. There's really no indication for that. One, what is the value of him right now in the open market that you would trade him, that you would get equal value back, not only in the short term, but in the long term? And two, like if he doesn't, become an all-star this year, the Rockets just don't have to pay him that much money. And you just hope that he turns into a better player than his contract is actually worth, and you end up winning in the end for that. So, that's one extreme. People want to trade him. Then the other extreme is the people that think that it is nothing he is doing to put himself in this situation where he's struggling. That is totally the fault of Fred VanVleet. It's Ime Udoka's fault. It's some people have blamed Alperen Sengun and his newfound all-star level play, which is just as dumb. Like, obviously, there are things that are changing for everybody on the team, but it's everybody on the team, and Jalen just has to be better. But you guys know how to do things. Let's look at some numbers just to compare how Jalen has been performing from his previous seasons under Stephen Silas to this season under Ime Udoka, and you be the judge. You tell me what you think. So what I'm going to try to do is dispel some of the myths and the cap that is out in the fan base right now about the Rockets. And once again, everybody, take a deep breath. Your Rockets are okay. Okay, so what you guys are looking at right now, this is a team history of the Rockets from the past 3 seasons, well, including this one, the past 2 seasons before Ime Udoka actually got here. The 2022 season, which is Jalen Green's rookie year, the 23 season, which is his sophomore year, and this current season that we're in right now. So what I did was I went and filtered out for the first 12 games of each season to look at where the team was at that point, to show whether there is a difference between Coach Udoka and Stephen Silas. Now, if you're a basketball, any type of basketball mind, obviously you can see the difference. But for some of our viewers that are not so astute to the game, let's just let the numbers speak for themselves, okay? So at this point in the 22 season, on Jalen's rookie year, on a veteran-heavy team, a veteran-laden team, you got to remember, this was a team with Eric Gordon, Christian Wood, Daniel Tice, Kevin Porter Jr., and Jalen Green out there. But Jalen Green was the sole rookie on this team, with these vets getting a lot of minutes playing. So you can see in almost 1,200 possessions, the offensive rating is 99.8, which had them ranked at 28th in the NBA. So this was the double big era, just trash offense. And then here's where they hung their hat, that team. Everybody said, oh man, they were such a good defense. At 107.6 points per possession, which is decent, and had them ranked at 18th in the NBA for a net rating of minus 7.8, which had them as the 27th net rated team. So they were losing by negative 7.8 points per possession with that team, having a 1-11 record. Okay, so yeah, he's a rookie. This is his rookie year. Let's see how he does next year. So next year, this is our young team that we had so much hopes for. The team with Kevin Porter Jr. starting, Jabari Smith was drafted. You got second year Jalen Green. Alperen Sengun is going to start, or maybe he wasn't going to start, but he ended up starting because Bruno Fernando was trash. Who else was out there? You had, I forgot who the 3 was at that time. Was it Tate or whoever it was? It was between Tate and KJ rotating off, and Eric Gordon at some point was traded out of that team. But before he said there's no improvement, which I'm going to steal his bar. There was no improvement because you can see 12 games into the season, same old story, 2-10 in over 1,200 possessions, offensive rating 108.7, ranked at 24th, defensive rating 116.4, the 29th net rated team in the NBA at that point in time for a negative 7.7 net rating, which is nasty. So they were losing pretty much the same rate, right? Everybody's clear. We're good on that. Let's fast forward to this season under Coach Udoka. Now we have Jalen Green in his third year. We have Alperen Sengun in his this is his third year. You have Jabari Smith in his second year, and you have two veterans in Fred and Dylan, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks. So you have a team that is 60% youth, 40% vet. Not as many vets as there was on that 2022 team. A little bit more vets than it was on the 2023 team, but look at the difference. Offensive rating 112.2, ranked 17th in the NBA, middle of the pack, and then defensive rating 109.5, the 6th ranked defense. They are a plus 2.7 net rated team in the NBA, having them as the 10th highest net rated team. This is in one season what Coach Udoka has done. So once again, as far as the Jalen Green discourse, I'm going to set the premise here for any discussions about Jalen Green as juxtaposing it to discussions about the team. And I feel like the people who are saying that he can do no wrong are looking at Jalen at the expense of the collective of the Houston Rockets. There's one thing to cheer for Jalen Green, but when you are looking at the team being successful and that doesn't satisfy you enough to even say that, well, at least we're doing X, Y, and Z, or at least he's contributing to winning, that does kind of seem like you're being a stan. And, you know, that's a thing that we really got to get out of being a team that's trying to contend for playoffs. Because if you're a stan, you're a fan of a particular player, not the team. And that's cool if you're tanking and you're trying to get draft picks. But as a team that's trying to win, sometimes you just got to take an L for the team. And sometimes not everybody's going to be the guy. And maybe he's not the guy right now, but that doesn't mean anything about his outlook. But let me get off my soapbox. We're going to keep going, okay? Y'all know I'm going to take y'all home with this. So now I want to isolate on Jalen's performance between those 3 seasons, right? So we've looked at how the team performed. Obviously, the first 2 years were trash, and the current year, we are pretty good. I mean, by the standards of the other 2 years, this is an amazing turnaround for the Houston Rockets at 6-6. You look at his first rookie year through his first 12 games, once again, 1-11 record, averaging 14, 3, and 2. Right? Nothing to write home about. Decent for a rookie. Look at the shooting splits. 35% from the field, 28% from 3, 77 from the free throw line. He was a team worst minus 10.7. Right? This is Jalen. Second year in the league, first 12 games, Jalen Green, 20.8 points. So the point totals went up by 6. Rebounds went up a bit. Assists went down. Shooting improved from the field at 41.4%, 36% from 3, and 76% from the free throw line. And he was a team second worst to Jabari Smith. This is your second year, quote unquote, star player, team second worst, negative 8.5, right? So for all the thrills and frills, oh man, he was averaging 20. Oh man, he's shooting 41%. Oh man, 36 from 3 in 12 games, even though he fell off the face of the map for the month of December and January. Towards the end of December and into January, had one of the worst stretches of his career after that. We're going to be happy because the guy that we expect to lead us to playoff wins and championships was a team second worst minus 8.5 while he was playing on the court. Fast forward to this current season, 6-6 for the record. Jalen Green, 18 points, 4.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists. So relatively the same stats from last year. Points went down slightly. Rebounds went up a little. Assists stayed the same relatively. The shooting is damn near the same. 39%, 35%, 78. Shooting's the same. But look at this. Wow. Plus 3.1. Jalen Green is contributing to winning. He's contributing to winning. And apparently that's not enough for people to look at and say that maybe he's learning how to be a winning player instead of, oh, Coach Udoka hates him because he benched him. And I'll talk about that later on. But let's keep going. I'm going to land this plane home. Y'all know how I do. Okay, now, one of the things that really came up was also how people were saying how he's being used on the team currently right now, right? So what you're looking at here, these are his play types, the frequency of the plays he got from the last season compared to this season. So pick and roll ball handler, he had 9.9 possessions per game last year in his second season. This year, 7.9. So that went down by 2. Spot ups, 3.2 possessions to 3.3. His spot ups stayed the same. Transitions, 2.6 to 2.7. That stays the same. Isolation, 2.6 to 1.4. That went down by about one possession. Handoffs went down by one possession. Off screens relatively stayed the same, right? So he had maybe 3 or 4, maybe 4 possessions less. And this is obvious because why? You have better players around you. This is the test of when you say the thing about he's a good stats, bad team player, because the reason that term comes up is because when a guy puts up numbers, and Jalen Green's his numbers weren't great, right? These numbers weren't great last year. So let's not act like this was James Harden. But regardless, even if you're happy with 41% from the field and 35 from 3, right? Even if that satisfies you, maybe that's what gets you going. Even if that, when you put that same player on a team that's trying to win, that's not going to only win 20 games or 17 games, that's actually trying to make the playoffs, and the numbers stay relatively the same, but you're still complaining, like, I don't know what to tell you. So let's look at his efficiency, right, from these positions. Pick and roll ball handler, 50% true shooting on those possessions to 44 this year. Spot ups, 54 last year to 55 this year, so that stays relatively the same. Transition, 63 to 60, not really a difference there. Isolations, 52 to 43, so his isolation efficiency went down. Handoffs go from 60 to 60, so that stayed the same. Coming off screens jumped from 47% to 82% on low volume, but that's still a mega jump for him in those plays. So you're seeing that things that he was comfortable doing, he is not being efficient at, and things that he wasn't doing a lot of, he's getting a little better at. All it seems is just like I've been saying for you guys with Jalen. One, he's trying to adjust to the team because he's not just being asked to spam a pick and roll until till the cows come home. He's actually been asked to think about the game, right? He's being asked to, when you spam that pick and roll, you got to make the right pass, Jalen. We're not going to tolerate you just doing crazy stuff. And that makes him think, and that's going to impact his efficiency. He's not comfortable doing the things that he's used to doing because they're being asked to do more with him right now. He's being asked to get more out of his game, and his game isn't up to par yet for that to be something he's comfortable doing and being efficient at. And that's on him. That's not on Coach Udoka. That's not on Fred VanVleet. That's on him. That's really on him. Okay, so let's keep going. So I think what people are failing to realize is what they're seeing right before their eyes. Coach Udoka is crafting these young men, our young players, on how to be winners, right? They are learning how to win. An update on our starting 5. You're looking at them, 382 possessions. They have the 13th best offense with the starting 5, 6th best defense, a net rating of 11.6, which will rank them as the 6th best starting 5 in the NBA. Offensively, EFG is high. The defensive, they're doing their thing on that. Like, all their numbers are through the roof. This is one of the best lineups in the NBA. And I looked at all the different lineups throughout the league that have played high possessions. There's only 5 lineups that have played over 300 possessions, and we're one of them. The other ones are Denver, Oklahoma City, and Boston. And the 5th one is the Washington Wizards. And out of those 5 teams that have those lineups play over 300 possessions, that means that the coaches really trust these lineups. We rank 3rd out of the 5, with Boston being number 1, Denver being number 2, the Rockets are number 3, OKC starting 5 at number 4, and then the Washington Wizards at it's like the cliff just drops down. They're a negative, where everybody else is a positive. So we rank 3rd. We have a better starting 5 than the OKC Thunder, with Chet, with SGA, et cetera, et cetera. What are we talking about? Right? What are you guys talking about? The dude is learning how to be a winning player. He's learning how to be a winning player. That's all we're seeing happening in real time. So also, one of the complaints that I've seen is that, he's not getting enough possessions where he's the focal point. That's also not true. And you look at in 2023, if you take him out of the starting 5, where he was just alone with a bench as a lone creator, right? He had 389 possessions. And this is granted, assuming, we know Eric Gordon left the starting lineup midway through the season. I kept in KJ Martin in there, because if I took out KJ Martin, that number drops to like 70 something. And the numbers ain't pretty when KJ's not out there. So I left KJ in that sample size, even though he was, started for half the season. So in those 389 possessions, which is roughly 4 possessions per game, so about a four times a game, just assuming, and it varies. Some games is more, some games is less. But if you evened it out over all 82 games from last year, 4 possessions per game, the offensive possession on those lineups were 107.5. The defensive points per possession were 119.8. Net differential minus 12.4. That is losing, right? Minus 12.4. Let's flip it over to this season. So far this year, minus the starters. So this is Jalen without Alp, without Fred, without Dylan, without Jabbar. Just him in the bench lineup. He's already had 58 possessions in 12 games, which would be about almost 5 possessions. So he's actually getting more chances to be the sole creator out there this season so far. And look how he's doing in those lineups. 129.3 points per possession, 91.5 defensive points per possession. Those lineups are a plus 37.8. Sometimes if you are focused on what is here and now, you miss the big picture. I want everybody to take a step back and just don't miss the picture of what we're seeing with the Rockets right now. So to talk about the Jalen Green benching situation, I'm all for it. I know people have cited that he had a good third quarter. Yeah, offensively, he had a good third quarter. He was playing terrible defense, and he ended the quarter off by committing a horrible foul. The whole game against the Warriors, he looked just dead. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was in his head. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he was held accountable for his play. And if he is the type of player that can't respond to that type of accountability, then he's not going to lead us to the playoffs. He's not a guy we're going to trust when it's game 6 or 7 and he's tired and his legs are gone and the defense has been trapping him. Is he going to make the right play? Is he going to make the right read? Is he going to hit the big shots? These are the times where you start to learn about a player's character. And if a guy can't handle being benched because he was playing bad, then I don't think he's going to be the guy that I'm going to trust in a big game. I think Coach Udoka is, fully, I would have benched him early. I think he has all the right to be able to do that to any player. And I love it because, once again, where does Coach Udoka come from? Where does Ime Udoka come from? What tree? Popovich. What is Popovich known for? Popovich was known for holding his star players more accountable than the bench players. Because what you do is when you hold the highest players on your team to the highest standards, it falls down the line. It rolls downhill to the guys that are at the bottom of the bench, the end of the bench, to know that coach doesn't play. It's Jedi mind tricks. It's pushing the buttons. Is he going to respond? That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about, what people think about, Fred VanVleet is stealing all his shots. That's cap. Oh, Coach Udoka doesn't like him. That's cap. Trade Jalen Green. That's cap. How do you respond, bro? Like, how are you going to respond? The coach is literally calling you out. You got sat down while Alperen Sengun is out there with a bad back, playing his heart out, while Dylan Brooks is, Lord knows, out there flying around tackling people, while Fred VanVleet, his leg is about to fall off at his damn age, is a small guard playing 40 minutes on the second night of a back-to-back. You're sitting on the bench watching them. As a hooper, as an athlete, as a competitor, if that doesn't rub you the wrong way to make you want to just tighten up, then, maybe it's not for you. So that's the challenge to Jalen. That's on him. There's nobody else that you can make these excuses for. This is on him. This is what winning basketball looks like. Coach Udoka is trying to breed champions. The Rockets are trying to turn the page. The narrative on Jalen is that he's a losing player, can't commit to winning. He can't add anything to a team that's trying to win. And all of that so far this season has been proven false. And this one, hiccup he has this year, his inefficiencies, we know he's streaky. At the end of the day, for me, my judgment on Jalen is never going to be on his stats right now, because as he gets bigger, stronger, older, he's going to get more efficient. It's going to be, what else are you doing on the court to add to winning? What else are you doing on the court to help your team? Are you leveraging your mismatches and attacking them? Those are playing that Warriors game where he had Steph Curry one-on-one. Bro dribbled the ball, almost traveled with it, and had to pass it back out because he couldn't beat Steph Curry one-on-one. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a confidence issue. That's a limited game and bag issue. Those are things he needs to work on. But if you're going to want to take the role of being the guy, hey, man, you got to earn it out in the battle. It's not something that you're going to be given to you. So for the fan base, I'm asking y'all, take your minds off of being a loser. That's basically the way people are talking like now. Y'all are talking like losers. Let's not be losers. We're trying to win now. Let's have winning accountability, winning mentality, a winning approach to development. And sometimes that comes with uncomfortable conversations between coach and player, between player and player. All that stuff we used to do in the past is gone. Jalen Green has been challenged. How does he respond? That's all I care about. And it starts Wednesday against Memphis. I'm going to be watching him closely. I'm going to watch his body language. I'm going to watch how he attacks the basket. I'm going to watch everything about him, his defensive intensity. If he folds it up, then you know what I mean? Then whatever he has coming to him is him. I don't care if he goes 0 for 20, 0 for 15. I don't care anything about that. I want to see, is he focused? Is his head in the game? To me, those are the marks I'm trying to see. I've shown y'all the numbers. The dude is winning right now. He is a big part of why we are winning right now. And for a player that has been a negative for so long in his career, that is a huge leap for him. The third-year leap may not show up in his box scores. It may not show up in his efficiency right now. For him, the leap that he has to take is that into being a winning player and contributing to winning, and he's doing that. That leap is there. I don't think that he's going to have the leap that we all thought he was going to have, where he's going to be like borderline all-star this year. I think some of the damage from previous seasons where they were losing so bad and he was a big part of it has to be undone. Y'all let Coach Udoka cook. The same thing happened in Boston when he was there. The fan base was trying to get him fired because guys weren't efficient. Everybody was playing bad. They were losing. And by the start of January, they became one of the best teams in NBA history. I keep telling you guys, wait till about early January. That's when they're going to peak. That's when everything is going to mesh. Guys are going to know their role. This is normal when changes happen. This is normal transitional stuff. When you're changing culture, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So, that is definitely where I'm at with that. I did want to add a bit about Alperen Sengun, and I'm going to wait for more data to come in to do a deep dive on him. But my guy is balling. He is balling. The defense against the Warriors was not the greatest in the first half, picked it up later on. But overall, the road stretch, he's, to me, answered every question I had about him as far as sustainment, the type of teams we're playing, whether they're big teams like the Lakers, teams that like to attack in isolation like the Clippers, teams like the Warriors that like to get you emotion and things like that. I think he's shown me that he can play any style. And once again, he is our best player right now. And that is a thing that a lot of us, kind of foresaw. I didn't think that it would be this wide of a gap between him and the other young guys, but it is what it is. And we move, like the young boys will say, we move. So y'all let me know about the Jalen Green thing. Where do you fall on the spectrum? Are you done with him? Or do you think that he needs just more time to kind of get acclimated? Y'all know where I stand on it. I'm like, just let the dude chill, let him learn, watch for everything else except just the box scores. Look at how he's playing. Watch the game, man. Watch the game. I love using numbers, right? But to me, numbers just tell a story. If you don't have the actual context of watching the film and actually focusing on the games, then just throwing out numbers and trying to quote stuff, you just look stupid. You know what I mean? So yeah, y'all let me know, man. I'm really curious to hear what y'all think on the live stream. I know y'all were talking about it. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I fell asleep. That game was way too late. I was talking, to space, and I just remember I was knocked out. I was the last one on YouTube on that live stream. But y'all let me know what y'all think about the Jalen Green situation. I'll save the LP stuff for a separate video. As you already know, if you're still listening to this podcast at this moment, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop. We're going to keep dropping that. Bop.